Welcome back to another episode of Mac Stories Unwind. I'm John Voorhees, and I'm joined today, as always, by Federico Viticci. Hey, Federico.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm doing really well. You know, the summer is winding down here in North Carolina, as it is, I suppose, in Rome. And you told me that you've been having still a heat wave. Has it been hot in Rome? We're gonna do a weather segment here to start things off for everybody, because I know everybody loves a good weather segment.
It's gotten better over the past few days, but there was a heat wave until last week. Fun fact, this thing happened. So in Italy, there's this really popular weather service that up until now has been pretty reliable. Last week, they got their weather forecasts so wrong.
Oh, yeah?
But like absolutely so wrong. The CEO of the company had to post an apology letter.
Wow.
So I received a push notification from the Italian weather app with the apology from the weather company. And I thought that was funny. And amusingly, that weather forecast was so wrong, it pushed me to reconsider the Apple weather app. And much to my surprise, it got the forecasts absolutely correct, which hasn't been the case over the past couple of years since we've had Apple weather. So it was the combination of like the official apology from the Italian weather company and the fact that Apple weather seemingly has gotten better for my region here. Both things really surprised me.
So which way did they get it wrong? Did they say it was going to be cooler than it?
No, they just said, it's not going to rain. And then we got thunderstorms. like absolutely factually incorrect.
I don't feel you need to apologize for that. At least, compared to American weather forecasts, they're wrong all the time. And depending on what part of the country you live in, sometimes the storms just pop up.
But Italy is so small. Like,
True.
it's hard to get it that wrong. Like, they were saying, it's going to be sunny and 35 degrees. And we actually got thunderstorms. Like, the complete opposite. That was funny. I also tried, as part of that process, I believe you reviewed this app last year, maybe, on Mac Stories, Weather on the Way.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I had to travel from one location to another, and I wanted to know, because I was gonna be on the highway. I wanted to know what's the weather gonna be like as I'm driving there and going relatively fast. And so I used Weather on the Way. It's a kind of utility that you put in, like, I'm starting from this location and I'm going to this other location. What's the weather gonna be on the way? And it uses Apple Weather Kit to give you those forecasts. And it's really nice in that it's got this scrollable timeline at the bottom of the UI that you can swipe to sort of advance through the day. So you can get a sense, maybe if I leave at 4 p.m., it's going to be rainy, but if I wait until 5 p.m., it's going to be better, just cloudy. Right. So maybe I want to wait an extra hour before I leave. That sort of thing has been really useful.
Yeah, it's not the kind of app that you'll need to use every day, but for people who are on road trips like you were, or I think a lot of cyclists use it too. Yes. People who travel long distances on a bicycle obviously want to know what the weather's going to be like and whether they're going to get rained on or whatever. So yeah, it's a pretty cool app. It's been cooler here. We actually had a little bit of fall weather in North Carolina, which has been wonderful. I've actually been able to open up the windows to cool off the house instead of using air conditioning, and it's been a good time to go for walks. So I'm enjoying, the temperate season here. So no longer sweating the moment I walk out my door, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to do, I have a TV pick for this week, but I kind of wanted to do a behind the scenes check-in with you. Both of us actually. Like, what's your macOS review status? What's the review check-in? How are you feeling? What's your progress like? How is it going? Are you tired? Are you okay? That sort of thing.
So I would say that it's going well, but I'm also frustrated and very tired. That's where I'm gonna start with, because it's going well in the sense that it's basically finished. I've gone through the first draft, which is complete. I've done one edit. I've started screenshots. So I'm ahead of where I probably normally would be most years, particularly, and I'm doing that. There's a good reason for that, because it seems as though iOS and macOS are going to come out at the same time, which is unusual. And that potentially makes our lives more difficult, because there are aspects of like the perks for the club and other things that we do in conjunction with your review that I usually help with. And so I want to make sure I have the time to do that. as well as, dealing with the Apple event coming up next week and all the other things that happen in the fall. So I'm trying to get the review as out of the way as possible. The frustration comes, that's why I'm feeling good, but the first frustration comes from the fact that we have a lot of other things going on anyway, and I'm having a very difficult time getting it over the finish line. And I think I'll be there in a couple of days at the outside, maybe by the weekend. I was hoping to get it done during this week, but there's just too much going on, both with Mac stories and with some personal stuff. So I will probably be more like late Friday or Saturday, something like that would be my guess. So it's getting there. I'm a little frustrated. And yes, I am tired because I'm at that point in the review process where I'm not doing much other than working on the review, working on other Mac Stories things, and then sleeping at night. I am going to take a break this afternoon to go into Charlotte with my family because my son's home from college. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, I have not watched a lot of TV. I have played almost zero video games. I've been dabbling in a demo. But other than that, it's been kind of a bit of a grind. And that'll clear up. It's going to be a lot to do between now and getting through the Apple event next week. But then I'll have a little time to relax. And I think, after I hear your check-in, I want to talk a little bit about maybe what we're saving for later, because I know I have been parking a lot of media on a shelf to play, to games and other things to play or watch later.
Well, now I feel bad because I was going to say I'm feeling great.
Well, I'm feeling great. I'm just feeling a little bit like the frustration is just that it's hard to do these things more quickly than natural. And that's what I'm trying to do.
No, I get that. And I come from, I think the reason why I'm feeling better every year is that I've been doing this I've been doing this for 10 years. This is my 10th annual review.
That's a lot, yeah.
And I think, I hope that I've learned my lesson in how to process this internally, how to feel about this sort of looming deadline. It also helps on my end that iOS 18 is much easier than previous years. There's only really 2 features. As you will see from the review, there's only really 2 major features in it besides Apple Intelligence. It helps that I have such strong feelings about AI and I don't feel bad about missing it. It helps that the review was shorter than previous years. So my check-in is the review is all written. I'm done. And I'm actually already done. As of today, as we're recording this on Thursday, I was done this morning with the first pass of editing. Thank you. I've been keeping, obviously, a project, a smart list and reminders. There's a section called parts to add. There are like 3 small things that I need to add, but these things, I usually save them all for the end because usually my review process goes, I write it, I edit it, and then in previous years, I didn't have an editor. This year, I have an editor. Thank you, Devon. Shout out to Devon for editing all of our things. Incredible editor. So I feel already much better. And what I'm going to do is next week after the Apple event, I am going to start reading it again. But as I go, I left all these placeholders for me for the images and the captions. So all those small things that I still need to add, I will add in as I do the images and the captions and the videos as I go. And that will also be like my second pass of the review. And realistically, between me and Devon, it's going to be read 5 or 6 times, which I think is plenty for this sort of project. I've been working on the perks, and as I teased on Mastodon, this review, I think, is going to be very polarizing. It's going to be very different. It's going to look very different, and not in a way that people expect. And there's good reason for that. Everything will be explained on Mac Stories eventually. I've been trying to work on some also new perks, kind of, trying to keep things fresh and different from previous years. You got to do it. But otherwise, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I feel like I now can turn once again my attention to other writing projects with the club, obviously, weekly, and the academy, And obviously there's going to be new iPhones coming out. So it's going to be a busy season for us. But this sort of project, I care about it so deeply, so much every year. And I'm glad that I was able to get it done in 10 days. I mean, obviously the research has been happening for 3 months in the background, sort of as a background process in my brain. But the actual writing happened in 10 days, which I'm very happy about. And it's 4-5 days less than last year when I got it done in 2 weeks. This year I was able to get it down to 10, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. You know, I don't know about you, but I have this process where I'm doing all that research and I could start writing, but I usually don't because I feel like I need everything. Yeah. I need to sit for quite a while with stuff. And then one day I wake up, I'm like, today's the day I can write about this stuff.
Today I'm doing it.
Yeah, and you just don't. And I sometimes wonder whether those weeks before that are procrastination or not. But I don't think they really are. They're really
no, they're not. They're not.
They're part of coming up with the ideas. I do think it's interesting that the fact that this is a lighter weight update makes it easier for you because in some respects I find that has made it harder because I don't feel as though Mac OS has as cohesive or consistent theme as in some past years. And that has made it a little hard to kind of just to talk about in the context of some of the past reviews that I've done. But I think I've finally hit on why I feel the way I do about Mac OS. I'm not going to give it all away here, but why I've been feeling the way I have about it. I did a first crack at an intro and a conclusion, and then I wrote the rest of it, and then I went back and the ideas were all right, but it needed to be rewritten. So I've rewritten that intro and conclusion because to me, those are the most interesting parts about writing some of this stuff because that's really what's important about this. What is it about this OS update that is important in the grand scheme of the devices we use?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, the fewer things you have, the harder it is to come up with a theme. But sometimes, my advice, John, sometimes the lack of a theme is a theme.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where I've wound up, I think. Is really, really the upshot of it. Because, it's the middle parts where I agree with you, where if you have fewer things to write about, the middle parts are a lot easier. I just kind of, there were few sections of my review that took a lot of time because there's a lot more meat there, but a lot of the sections there wasn't as much to say about anyway. So those parts just went really quickly.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we want to do when we are done with the iOS review as a little treat for ourselves, because, we've been working on these things for months and we deserve some media to help us tie over until the next project. I am going to share with you, John, some breaking news. Okay. Courtesy of our friend Brandon Bigley, co-hosts with us of MPC. I just read. So September 26th was already going to be quite busy for me because The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is coming out on Nintendo Switch. It's, at this point, my most anticipated game of the year.
Oh, yeah, same here.
So that day was already going to be quite busy. But I just read on Brandon's blog, wavelengths.online, great blog, you should subscribe.
You're reading blogs while we're talking, Federico. You're quite a multitasker.
When I use a Mac, seriously, I left Ivory open and I just saw the update.
All right.
September 26th. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but what a get for Apple. Balatro coming to Apple Arcade.
Wow, that is really big. Hats off.
Hats off to Apple. You did it. You spent your money wisely.
Yes.
You did it.
More, please.
Yeah, more of these.
Sorry, I'm not going to rest on this one for very long because I think that catalog could use a lot of Balatros.
It's coming to every single Apple platform. That's iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple TV. Balatro on Apple TV. That is not. Can you play this thing with the Siri remote?
No, you'll use a game controller. Maybe you could. Oh, the swiping, I guess you really could.
The swiping
I suppose that's true. Yeah, maybe you could. I don't know.
Oh, this is gonna be such a time sink. The developer Local Thunk on Twitter quoted the post from the Balatro account with the announcement. The developer just added a single comment that is, "I'm sorry."
That's
this
awesome.
This is gonna be incredible.
So when is that coming?
September 26th,
the same day
as Zelda. Yeah,
that seems like a bad. That seems like a bad choice.
All this, yeah. Well, I don't know, because you have something on the Nintendo Switch and then you have something on your phone. You know,
yes,
you can
true,
move.
true.
So these two are gonna be two games that I'm gonna check out. I also, I need to finish 3 games before the end of the year that I'm gonna pick up again. I'm still working my way through Dragon Quest XI. That game is infinite. Speaking of infinite, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I need to get back and finish that game before the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And I also need to finish, because I'm halfway through, Dragon's Dogma. So I have 3 big games still on pause. I have some other like smaller things that I've been checking out. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Those are big games.
Big games until the end of the year, that's for sure. I still have like smaller things that I want to check out. Like, for example, I should do a bunch more side quests in Tears of the Kingdom. I am done, obviously, with the main story of Tears of the Kingdom, but like the side quests are easy to pick up and do when you have time. I have my list in Sofa that I'm checking out. Obviously, I need to play more Hades 2. I still need to finish 1000X Resist. I have a bunch of indie games, but these are easy to check out when you have time, like Mini Shoot Adventures, SteamWorld Heist 2. There's this fun game coming out at some point before the end of the year called Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. The name is ridiculous. I don't think I've
heard of that one.
John, you're gonna love this game. Play the demo. There's a demo on Steam.
Oh, really?
You are going to really like this game. Also, Pipistrello is Italian for bat, and the character is a bat. It's Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. I played the game, the demo. It's lovely. I want to play eventually the crab game that came out this year.
I played it. It's okay.
Oh, you didn't like? Okay, thank you for telling me. And the other one that I saved on Nintendo Switch was Unicorn Overlord, a strategy game.
Yeah, that one looks interesting to me. The thing about the crab game, and I'm forgetting what the name of it is, but
Another Crab Treasure.
Right. I feel like there are so many good games right now that even if something is like a B+ game, I wouldn't even play it. And I think it's kind of a B+ game.
That is a good threshold to have.
You're forgetting one, Federico. You're forgetting one. And I share your list in a lot of ways, but the Plucky Squire is coming out in less than 2 weeks. The
Plucky Squire, oh my God. Yes,
17th.
Let me add it. Okay, so where's my list? 2024 games backlog. Yeah. Thank you. I forgot.
Yes, this is the artwork of this one is done by a guy who did some Pokemon artwork. Used to work for the Pokemon.
Long time a Game Freak designer or Pokemon Company designer. I want to say. I'm gonna try and find the person's name. I used to follow back in the Twitter days. I used to follow.
I feel like so many people I've dropped off in keeping up on because of moving away from Twitter. So much of the game world is still over there, and I just noticed. Remember the woman who did the Zelda themed iPhone home screen that we featured in Max Stories Weekly?
Yes,
she just joined Threads. I just ran across her yesterday, and so she's still doing her Twitch thing and all that stuff. It was kind of interesting to see. There are just more people starting to come over, especially to Threads. I think from Twitter.
James Turner, former designer at Game Freak and now co-director of the Plucky Squire. So actually, thank you for telling me, because this is going to be my first treat after the iOS review. If iOS comes out on the 16th and this comes out on the 17th, you know that night I will be playing the Plucky Squire.
Yep, this is at the very top of my list is the Plucky Squire, and of course I'm right there with you on playing the Zelda Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. That's going to be really high on my list. I think I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the Switch this fall. It feels
Me too, actually. Yes.
Yeah, it feels like there's a nice set of indie games coming out. There's these really good, the Zelda, obviously, first party game. There's a good collection coming out, and I think it's time that I get back to the Switch because I haven't played it much this summer.
I literally was having the same thoughts over the past week. Like, I think it's going to be a Switch fall.
Yep.
I don't know if it's because like the Switch 2 coming and I kind of want to cherish my time with the original Switch. The original Switch, I had a time over the past year where like sometimes I don't, it was feeling old, you know, as a console. And that's why I emulated some Switch games. I finished Tears of the Kingdom via an emulator, for example. And then I imported my save back on the original Nintendo Switch. But like for a few months in the past year, I felt, I don't want to play with the Switch anymore. I'm just going to play everything on PC. But in doing that, I've reached a point where I am missing the Switch. And so I was having these thoughts of like, I think it's going to be a Switch fall because I feel like I miss my Nintendo Switch. And so,
make sure you have the right third-party controller and then you'll be in good shape. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Joy-Con, part of the problem with the Switch is dealing with the Joy-Con, I think. It's just not very comfortable to play for very long.
What's the one you recommend? I'm going to get it live during the show. Is it called the MOBA Pad something? Is it possible?
No. Which one? The one that I was going to...
There's one that you... No, it's not the MOBA Pad. There's one.
Are you talking about the Nitro Deck Plus?
No, it's not that. I don't want to be... Although, do you like the Nitro Deck Plus?
No, don't get the Nitro Deck Plus. There's the punchline of that controller is that it's way better than the first iteration of the Nitro Deck, except they did something really dumb. They made symmetrical...
Oh,
joystick.
Yeah, no. Yes, I remember that. No, there was something...
What? It ruined it. It just ruined it.
Yeah. I remember. We're gonna talk about this on NPC. There was a controller for Nintendo Switch that you recommended.
It was something that I think that Brendan linked to in our show notes, and we didn't get to talking to. So it's in here somewhere. I think.
Yes, it's the MOBA Pad M6 HD. That is the thing I'm thinking of.
Yes, and I think his comment on it was, this would be nice if it had come out 2 years ago.
Yeah, but if I'm going to have a Switch fall, I've decided that is my brand now. I'm going to check it out. We'll see.
You've stolen my brand from me, I think is what you've done.
Well, it's okay.
We can both have
I can catch you in if you want to.
Yeah, no, we can share the brand, I think.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to mention? Like, what are you going to... besides these games...
so those games, I actually have been playing the demo of Ace Attorney, the Investigations remake, and it's fun. It's quite good. I've just been playing the demo so far. I may pick that up because that's going to be part of Switch Fall. And I'm going to get back to watching some shows on Apple TV Plus, I think, and maybe some movies, catching up. I haven't really decided on the lineup yet. Right now, I'm finishing up that show that I recommended a while back called Sunny, which is so good. It's really one of my favorite Apple TV shows of 2024, and it's going to be in contention for my TV show of the year. But I don't know. I gotta look and see. There's the Lady of the Lake, I think, is another Apple TV Plus one that came out that looks intriguing to me. And I've kind of stacked up some Netflix movies and documentaries and other things that I might want to start watching as well. So we'll see. I'm not ready yet to totally commit to one particular show or movie, but it's going to be something that I'm going to start going through my queue in sequel and organizing it and kind of prioritizing where to start.
All right, cool. So I just wanted to mention a quick pick before we wrap up this episode. This is not like a full pick. It's more like a preview of something that I'm sure I'll talk about more eventually. Season 4 of Only Murders in the Building started streaming on Disney Plus. First 2 episodes are out. I had forgotten about it because I was busy with the iOS review, and then I checked out TV Forecast again. Excellent utility for iPhone.
Yep,
it's my TV tracker of choice. And I realized, there's 2 episodes out. And all I will say is that I love this cast. I am so happy that the show has already been renewed for a season 5.
Yes.
This will likely be Steve Martin's last series before retirement.
I saw Matt Birchler mention that on Mastodon this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, he's said this a bunch of times in interviews and in the documentary. Season 4 already starts in a way that you wouldn't expect. And the greatest quality of this show is how it keeps you on your toes and constantly surprises you while also keeping a mystery. So I know I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole of checking out the subreddit once again, as I do every year. The first 2 episodes are already solid, and yeah, I'm already sort of obsessed. And yeah, I recommend it, but we'll talk about this again at the end.
Yeah, now is a good time to get on the ground floor, because I believe that those 2 episodes both were just released a day or 2 ago as we record this. So it's very hot off the presses, and it's already been renewed for season 5. So you have something to look forward to after this season too. All right, Federico, that's it for another Mac Stories Unwind. You can find the 2 of us at macstories.net. We are on Mastodon. Go to viticci.macstories.net and johnvorhees.macstories.net to follow us there. And we're on Threads and Instagram, where Federico is at Viticci. That's VITICCI. And I'm at John Voorhees. JOHNVOORHWS. Talk to you next week, Federico.
Ciao, John.